signed in, but we're going to get started because we want to keep our time commitment. And if other people come on the line, I'll try to do some catch-up. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right. So, Antoinette, I'm Mimi Maduro, and I'm the Pathways Initiative Statewide Director for Oregon. And with me on the line is Effie Sieverts, and Effie is our Training and Technical Specialist for our Oregon Career Pathways web tool. So she's kind of doing the technical part of the webinar with me today. And our purpose here during Careers in Energy Week is to basically present some resources to educators and the public about 3 websites, one that's Oregon-specific and 2 national, that provide resources for educators to use in getting young people and adults and folks transitioning from the military into careers in energy. So first, we're going to dive right in. Those 3 websites are getintojobs.org, CEWD, Center for Energy Workforce Development, and we have a statewide website which is called OregonGreenPathways.org, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to do a demo of those 3 those 3 websites. So, getting started, you're seeing up here on the screen is getintoenergy.com, and this website has been designed by the Center for Energy Workforce Development for students, for people, for parents. It's a general public website to basically promote careers in the energy field. And as you can see across the top bar, you can see that it looks at different target populations: youth, military, workers in transition who may be unemployed or changing careers, and careers for women. We're going to take a moment to share with you the youth component of this, which is the basically focused on young people 18 to from middle school, high school, college, maybe interested in these types of careers. So here we learn about each one of these has a place where they take you into. You can see games and contests that teachers can use, resources, and so maybe we'll take a look at learn more about energy and energy careers. And that's right up there where Effie's clicking, and we're going to take a look at that. So each one of these sections has a similar piece. So here we can look into the careers and it's line worker, technician, power plant operator, pipe fitter, engineer right across the top. So we'll click on line worker because that's a great entry-level occupation. And with the line worker, when you click into this, obviously you could take the quiz, but we're not going to do that. We're going to go right into line worker. And so obviously we're not going to go into all these occupations, but you can see that on this page you're able to see all of the different skills required for a line worker. You have a video, the average salary, and requirements for the job, etc. So this is designed to be used by a student who's interested in it, an educator who's maybe teaching, or somebody who's teaching a career guidance course, etc. So it tells you the types of courses you need. One of the things that we talk about in Careers in Energy is our tagline is putting STEM to work, and STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Those types of classes in high school and college are really the gateway to a strong career in energy. So the other thing I wanted to share with you is the military piece. One of the things that this website does is for people who are transitioning back from the war in Iraq or war in Afghanistan and are interested in looking at what are the jobs that I had in the military and their potential transferable skills. You can actually go on this website and look into the job you had in the Army, and then it'll kind of tell you the transferable skills to this industry. So again, there's some really great skill building that happens in the military that's transferable to this industry. And then I just want to take a moment to just share the careers for women. Obviously, the utilities industry and the energy employers are very interested in recruiting women and minorities to this field. So this particular tab is just for women in careers for women in the engineering field, and so basically giving you more information about that. Now, the last tab across the top here is interactive roadmaps, and basically they're tools that can be used with, again, career guidance classes. They could be used in high school classes. They could be, and they're designed for educators, for students, and for the energy industry. But we're going to look at one for students. We'll look at line workers since we've been focusing a lot on that occupation. So these roadmaps are available and can be printed out and kind of give you a stepping stone approach of how you go from, starting with your high school diploma or GED and how energy, your credentials, your jobs, etc. The supervisors, up to a supervisor level with the amount of pay. So again, this website is designed for the general public to be used by individuals, by students, and I think there's some, as you can see, each one of these occupations has a lot of different things that describe what happens and what the skills are and the requirements for the job. So before I go on to the next website, I want to take a moment, Antoinette, and see if you had any questions about this website. Have you used this website before?
I've seen it, yes.
Okay, have you used it before, though, in the past?
I mean, I've gone to it. I kind of had, it's a little tricky where you click and where it leads you to, but I'm not sure if it's because I'm looking for something in particular.
Okay, yeah. So I actually understand what you're saying, because it's designed for multiple populations around the top, and then each time you click on it, then you get the subcategories for that. Like right now, Effie has up here careers for women, then you can say women careers, videos, Y energy, training, and job locator. So, since the information is, I think, is really you kind of have to, just trying to understand the organization, because each of these sections is organized just about the same. Okay, so we're going to take a moment then and to go into our next website, which is the Center for Energy Workforce Development. This website is, actually you can see right on here, you can link to getintooenergy.org. It's been developed by the Center for Energy Workforce Development. And as you can see, there are different types of resources here, but the thing that I want to share here is under the Curriculum Center. Right down here you see Curriculum Center, and this is where teachers and educators in high school and community college can go to learn about the curriculum and the classroom resources that are available, not only lessons plans, but boot camps for learning math, etc. And there's many resources that the industry has developed. So again, under this, you can see the little red toolbox there. There's a bunch of lesson plans and opportunities there. You want to click on Go there, Effie, and see. You can see that there's, you can use lots of different things. You want to do a lesson plan on women in sustainable careers, or resources for teachers and guidance counselors, resources for parents. All of those are in this section and can be used in a variety of career awareness and career exploration opportunities. And then the other piece I wanted to show you when you go back to the home page for the curriculum site is that the Center for Energy Workforce Development recently developed this Energy Industry Fundamentals course. And this course can be just brand new, hot off the press curriculum. See where it says Go. You click on that and you have all of the modules. One of the challenging things is when you're sometimes for educational institutions, it's to develop curriculum. Well, this curriculum was developed by the Center for Energy Workforce Development, working with industry partners, and really teaches the competencies and gives you the great overview of all the skills that are needed in building that baseline capacity for learning about the energy industry. So as you can see, there's a course framework here and the modules, et cetera, and everything that a teacher would need to know It's a year-long, it can be taught a year-long in high school, and it's been, you get a certification from it from the industry, et cetera. So this is a really strong design for high school or community college course that can give a student really a solid grounding in the energy industry. So again, a new course. Again, this is not 1 or 2 hours. This is a year-long course. Now, you don't have to adopt all of it, but what it does give is an opportunity for dual credit to be taught in high school and community college. Okay, any questions about the CEWD website? Okay. Well, the last thing we'd like to show you today, Antoinette, is the Oregon Green Statewide Career Pathways website. And that's right here. This is something that's Oregon homegrown. And we developed this about 1.5 years ago. And it focuses on 7 either emerging or existing green career paths. And obviously we're going to focus on utility / line worker. And the one thing that this website does that's different is that it shows you where all of the apprenticeship programs in the community colleges are in the state of Oregon for this particular occupation, so that you don't have to look at 17 different colleges and say, where can I learn about this? So as you can see, this is the template and the format for all 7 of these statewide roadmaps. But, you've got an opportunity to look at all what are the technical skills, what are the green skills, what are the job opportunities. How do you build these skills through education and training, the foundational skills? What supplemental courses are offered at the high school? And then here on the right-hand side, we have the community college pathways and the apprenticeship pathways. So, for example, if we click on community college pathways, you'll see that when you click on each of these, it kind of then gives you all of the, basic information about it. So here information that basically we have only one associate degree program in Oregon. Obviously, we had more, we'd have them here, but in Oregon we have one in Clackamas, and then it takes you to all of the information about the occupations that it could prepare you for. So again, this gives you information about Oregon. And then the next box, when you go back to the line worker roadmap, is kind of shows you where the apprenticeship programs are. At the bottom, you see, a little bit different, and there's the Northwest Line Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee. I know that BPA has its own apprenticeship, internal, apprenticeship committee, but these are ones that folks can get into through the JATC. Okay. We'll go back and look at the resources section here at the bottom. What information and resources are available to the utility line workers, and you can learn more about.
Could we stop for a second?
Sure.
I noticed that Annette is online, and I know she works with our HR folks. So,
So Annette, you're here?
I did. I joined late, and I didn't want to interrupt because you were on a roll. So, do you have a BPA question?
Well, I kind of have a website question and a BPA question because it was just mentioned that, it's known that there is an apprenticeship program in BPA, but it doesn't show up when they click on that specific link so that they know that we're out there.
Yeah, so the couple quirky things about BPA's apprenticeship program is that because we're a federal agency, it doesn't run like another a private sector kind of apprenticeship program that some of the other utilities have that are not part of the federal government. So we have some pretty specific federal hiring requirements, and right now we only open our apprenticeship program to veterans, students in a post-secondary qualified electrical program, or people who are current or former federal employees. So it's not open to the general public. If you go to bpa.gov, we could ask Mimi to put a link there. You can see all of those things because we do have a page on apprenticeship at BPA, but it's so different than a regular apprenticeship program that it kind of it has its own flavor to it, and because it has limited availability in terms of access, that's kind of the other issue. I hope next year when we get automation, we'll actually hope to have it more open to the general public, but we don't at this time. So does that help?
Yeah, that does help. I was just kind of wondering why, it wasn't referenced on this website if this was specific to our area.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, we
can talk.
Well, hello?
Okay, we're back on.
Okay.
Apologize for that technical experience. We don't have any control over that phone line delay.
You guys still here?
Do we have everybody on the line?
I'm still here.
Oh, thank you for hanging out there, Antoinette. It does look like Annette's gone, but I will email her and ask her. What I was talking about was that, when we developed this and I was talking to Annette, we talked about not putting it here, but the idea of just even linking to your page is a good one. So I will follow up with her on that.
Okay, I mean, I don't work in HR or anything. I was just wondering, if this is a local thing, why it isn't listed. So I don't mean to cause any. I mean, it's fine.
Oh, no, it's no good. But I think you're right. I mean, we actually had this exact conversation when we were developing it. She said, well, I don't want people to kind of then see it and then they kind of realize you can't really get into it, And so I think that we were erring on the side of of how it was organized. So we'll see what happens.
And that makes sense. I mean, if a normal high schooler can't get into it, and that's the audience we're trying to put this website,
Yeah, it was a community. Yeah. It's for community colleges and high schools, yeah.
So if they're the general audience, then it does make sense, because I didn't know that. So.
Yeah. So, and I didn't know it either until I, went to put it on there, and we kind of had the conversation. So we were actually getting very close to ending, so I just wanted to see from your perspective, Antoinette, if you had any other questions about our Green Pathway website.
Well, I haven't had a chance to look at it, but what we do is we go to visit the high schoolers and the middle schoolers, so it's really just a one-time visit. So I was kind of interested in knowing what kind of advice you guys would have, if you had any activities. You did mention that that one website had more of a year-long type thing, but, we're only there for an hour at most with the students, so what could we do to capture their attention? If you guys had hands-on activities that are also fairly easy.
Well, if you go back to youth and you go under, we've got videos, but we also have parents and educators under youth. There's games, contests, links to energy websites. Can we go to that, Effie?
Yes.
I think we didn't show. Thank you. We didn't kind of go to that, but I'm glad you asked that question. So basically, there's some games you can play here. There's Energy Wikipedia. There's some cool energy websites, games, science projects, homework spots. You probably have to go through this and see what might appeal for it. There are things on here for middle schoolers as well. And when you go into, so that's one place to do is look at this particular web page and explore some of these sites and these links and see if they have anything that would be good for your presentation to students. And then the other place I would suggest you is if you go back to CEWG, that website, and we go into, and Effie's clicking to get us there. So that's one place to look. And then the other place is that we didn't spend much time there. I should have asked you up front what some of your thoughts were, is under the educators section, under Knowledge Center, that's where Effie is, you have this stuff for teachers and guidance plans. You've got training programs. You've got lesson plans. Click here, why the energy industry. So you could look at this as well. And then one other place I suggest you looking is, again, on the CWG website, going back to the home page and looking at the Curriculum Center. Remember that red toolbox? We didn't spend much time there, but that is another place I suggest you kind of do a little bit more exploring. Because when you click on the toolbox, this red toolbox that says Go, basically you've got information about doing a math boot camp. You've got resources for parents, for guidance counselors, and then it says elementary, secondary education resources. Again, you've got some of these are very short lesson plans, why careers, things like that. So I think exploring these particular things and then right down here it says elementary school, middle school, high school, those kind of can take you into looking at specific, presentations you can do with those different populations. Does that help you? Give you a little bit more detail.
Thank you. It does give me places to start. And
then,
yeah,
so those three places would be the places that would have, I think, things that might be helpful to you.
Okay.
Your other question?
My other question, again, it still deals with students, but, when you try to talk to them about why careers in energy is a good career, and then you start talking to them about numbers, especially when they're in middle school, salaries don't mean very much. They're numbers, but how would you be able to relate that to them?
So this is Annette. I got back on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for coming back on.
It just disappeared and there was no one there.
I know.
I think for the middle and grade schools, it's really, you're right, the salary is just that they can't comprehend it. So to me, it's more just getting them excited in the subject matter and doing some kind of interactive thing with them to get them to understand energy. And what it's like to solve problems, and that's what engineers do, right? So at a really basic level, just giving them exposure.
Yeah, and if I would tag on to, I totally agree and concur with you, and the other thing that I would tag on to that is that basically even just showing all the different ways in which energy is used in hospitals, used in, and kind of pointing to all the different, because I don't think, when I think people, think you switch on the light in your house and that's what people may think of as energy, but all the things that are dependent in our community, from air traffic controllers when the airplane flies in, to, even having some disparate things. How is energy connected to all these things that maybe a middle school student sees, but doesn't really comprehend that all of it takes electricity and it needs to be maintained off of the grid. And so I think making those systems linkages is, and I think there's just been more teaching of systems in these ways of showing all these interdependencies and interrelationships between how it affects their life. You get to go to the hospital, you're taken off to the hospital. This is very dependent on electricity because you have to get all your tests that way, et cetera. So I think that would be another way to think about it. Obviously, the fun part of it. I think there are some fun pieces of it in the middle school part of just kind of getting people engaged. When I looked at this originally, I just don't remember exactly which one it was. But the enthusiasm part is important, as well as making the connections to all the different facets of our lives.
There's also this great video about girls, and it's actually a story, and I think there's a video attached about how this woman engineer created a little toy for girls in like the grade school, and it shows them how things that might be more appealing to girls at that age, because there's a gender association already, and how engineering isn't necessarily what little boys might think of, which is blowing things up, but it's helping people in hospitals, and it's other things like that where engineers do work. So it may not always be in the energy field, but it is about, connecting them to certain types of jobs they might not get exposed to. So it's a really cool thing. It's called the Kickstart Video and GoldieBlocks.com. So you might take a look at that if you're really looking at grade schools.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
So anything else before we get ready to sign off for the day? Well, thank you, Annette, for pitch hitting here and helping out. And
yeah, I just wanted to see how it was going. So.
Yes, and we'll be posting. We're going to use our recording from the Monday video. The Monday webinar, and we're going to post that. I think Effie said she could do it by tomorrow, and
nice.
So it will be on. It'll be on where you see Line Worker on the OregonGreenPathways.org. You'll be able to see get a link to the recording from Monday for people right around there. People will put something in there. It'll basically show you exactly, the webinar, and people can listen in who weren't able to get on to it this week. So I just wanted to thank you both for participating, and happy Careers in Energy Week.
All right. Thanks, Mimi.
All right. Be well. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you, Effie.
Thank you.